Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Custom Track World Cup. I'm Scoped, and I'm once again going to be casting this next match, this time alongside Mystique. How are you doing, Mystique?
Hi, I'm doing good today. I'm excited to cast this. I think this is going to be a really good match, so I'm
Oh,
ready.
yeah, I absolutely agree. This is probably two of the best four teams going into the latter half of this group stage here, US South versus Canada. And seeing as the room is filling rather quickly, might as well and immediately start presenting the lineup here. So why don't you go ahead and get us started with the US South lineup, Mystique?
Sure. US South is going to be putting up a very strong lineup. Abel is definitely, I think Abel and Abalash make up a great core. They're definitely going to be a very up in the front. Abel has been playing a lot of lounge recently, and then Abalash deciding to Wii on for the first time this month. I think he's going to do his best, and I think he's going to put up some strong numbers, hopefully. And then Mike and Vanessa, or ELP, are very active as well. They scrim constantly. They're always in lounge. So I think they could be surprised, especially Mike, having D1 experience on both RTs and CTs now. I think he could do really well. And then Striker, for what it's worth, Striker is a good bagger. Um, so I think he's going to stand a chance. So I think they have a really good shot.
Yeah, Striker has been improving throughout the past few months, with some would say years, of bagging constantly. At this point, you're bound to get your dues at some point. But yeah, absolutely, an extremely strong lineup. But you really have to be when you consider the fact that you're playing against Canada,
Yeah.
which is one of the only two lossless teams going into this match, currently 5-0 after the win against Celtic Nations. Um, they do have a similar match to a similar lineup to the previous matches lineup, but they do have some changes here. They're going to be fielding Zilla, Jack, Kit, and Artie. No, sorry, not Artie. Lucas are going to be our fielded runners team. We had a little bit of a last-second change. Zilla, obviously, no need to present him anymore. Division 1 MVP, has 140 twice in this World Cup already. Strongest runner in the game by a long shot at this point. And yeah, just overall an extremely strong player. Obviously, I've just been informed as our players are joining that Jack is actually getting subbed out for Boshi. Boshi, top runner in Omega, strong player, strong technical player. Obviously, Boshi strats, coin term for any really weird strats that he either coined himself or simply really niche knowledge, really niche running knowledge or bagging knowledge. Um, Kit, also strong Division One player, fringe Division Two for years. Division One players nowadays. Um, Division Two MVP numerous times. Stronger front runner as well. And finally, Lucas, another Division One player. Pretty much Division One lineup in general, extremely strong lineup, both in terms of just raw running, game sense. Well, there's a reason why this team has a 5-0 record, and obviously MKWii, possibly one of the strongest baggers in the world, even the strongest CT baggers in the world so far. Only really rivaled by baggers that have RT experience behind them. So definitely going to be a tough matchup for strikers. Definitely should get a few shocks regardless, but should be a pretty tough match for US South, but a pretty tough match for Canada as well, as I do expect it's going to be a lot closer than most of their matches. Let's just quickly check on over to the room real quick, make sure we're not missing any of the action, and it seems that the room has reopened. So thankfully, we do have a little bit of time to talk a little bit more about both of these teams. And Mystique, I do want to ask you, what do you think? How do you think this match is going to go? What's your little prediction going into this?
That's a good question. Honestly, I think if there's any team that has the capability to beat Canada, because Canada is kind of on a great run right now, I think it is this team, and I think they're putting a very strong lineup out. And I really do think it's going to come down to the bagging battle. I think Striker's been known to do like very niche, interesting things. Like when it comes down to it, like he's done stuff in EI finals before where he's made strats that are very hard or things like that. He makes good plays as a bagger, so he's definitely going to have to be on today, especially going against someone like MKWii. I think it's going to be a very close match, and I think I would slightly favor Canada, but I wouldn't be surprised if US South ends up winning either.
Yeah, I do think it can go either way. I do have a slight if you put a gun to my head, I would say most likely Canada. But it can absolutely go either way. And although I would like to mention that I don't think US South is the only team that could make this Canada team bleed. US North only lost by 4 points, and
That's true.
Asia Pacific is another team that has yet to lose even against US South and US West. So the Asia Pacific match that should come um, later on should definitely be also an interesting match to follow to possibly see if Canada is going to keep that lossless record going into the playoffs. Obviously, securing their top six spot already, but they're going to need to battle it out to hold on to that top two and possibly skip those quarterfinals as we are finally 10 in room and able to start this off. Um, that should be a really close match, should be a really interesting match to follow here. Our POVs for this match are going to be Zilla and Bell. No, Mike, my mistake.
Mike.
I was debating between Mike and Abella. It is going to be Mike and Zilla for our POVs today for this specific match there. Obviously, Zilla, as we said, front runner, most likely expected, top scorer in Division One, top scorer in Canada. But Mike, with that RT experience, probably going to show a lot more interesting plays in terms of just general item play and actions of the like in the mid pack. So definitely two interesting POVs to follow as we go into this match.
Yeah, honestly, two D1 RT champions when you think about it.
Yeah, that is correct. I think that's also what separates some of these players. It's just the raw RT experience. We mentioned it before on cast, but some of these players having RT experience at such a high level. Frozen is another example in US North, but that just gives them so much versatility in
Right.
those races and allows them to do so much more than just raw running. That, for example, not no slander, obviously, but Kit is an example of a player you could say as a mainly front runner, and that is maybe a bit less efficient when it comes to the mid pack. So having that extremely high level RT experience can absolutely make or break your, especially in the mid pack, can make or break your level of play in that specific aspect.
Right. I completely agree. Especially at like that high level that like Mike and Zillow are both at on both RTs and CTs at this point, but especially RTs. Because I think it's just like even watching like D1 finals, like it's just the plays that they make and like the reaction time and like just the things that they think to do just on the spot. It's really like it's definitely something you have to learn. Like, and the only way to learn is to play at that high level.
Yeah, absolutely. It really comes down to having to adapt to a level where track knowledge and just raw speed is no longer enough to compete because at a high level in RTs, everyone has that. At a high
Right.
level at a high level in the CTs, even in Division 1, there are still uh I don't know if speed tiers is necessarily the correct word, but you definitely have different levels of speed in Division One in CTs. Like for example, a player like Avalash, at his when he was actively playing, was always extremely fast, always having BKTs top pretty much on every single track, and was always considered extremely fast. But on RTs, pretty much everyone is capable of that front run. Everyone has some um, some extremely fast times. So at this point, your item play is your strongest determining factor, and that translates expertly well to CTs, even though some might lack the level of interaction that some other RTs do, which we have talked about just in terms of track design. But that's an entirely different discussion that we don't have time for as we go into this first race.
No, I think it's definitely going to come down to things like that because you don't win just by getting first. You win by getting those mid spots. So playing in the mid pack is super important. So
I am interested to see in what these teams are going to go for when it comes to first tracks here. There have been multiple strategies going on for a lot of different teams either just having one player really decide the track taste of the team. Lost Fortress being a good example for Zilla and Kit, for example, but Canyon Run. I do not believe I've casted a Canyon Run race in quite a while, all things considered. It has fallen a little bit out of favor recently, but I'm glad to see it back. And a Rogue Mansion of Madness for
Rogue
MKWii.
Mansion of Madness.
That's the MI DNA staying a little bit too much for MKWii, but Canyon Run is going to be our first pick for events here. Obviously, uh, the hot air balloon cut's going to be the hot attraction, so to speak,
Yeah, I
as
can't
we
wait
go.
to see how they block it this time.
Well, it does make for quite a bit of divergent gameplay, trying to force your way around the cut itself. But yeah, we're going to follow Mike at the start in the mid pack. As we mentioned, triple shrooms immediately. A member of US South immediately hit out Boshi,
Oh,
forcing a
that
mega
flag
out.
work.
Kit and Zilla making their way into top two. And Mike actually with that triple shroom, we did say that he would good in the mid pack, but seems that he can front run as well, staying into second, right behind Lucas. But he is surrounded by Canada members so far
Yeah.
as we come up into that hot air balloon. Gonna have to see what ends up happening here. Is really high cut, and Lucas is off.
Oh, Luke is off there. Yeah, that was a lot of airtime that he got on the cut.
Yeah, both of these players not exactly getting the best cuts out there, and as you can see, Zilla is already
Yeah, Zilla made
hot.
up a lot of time. Or
It
and Kit.
and Kit, both of them making up a lot of. Actually, I do believe Zilla either died or simply we mistook Kit for Zilla. Could be either or, but yeah, Kit hot on Mike's trail at this point. Green, wide Kitty dodging it out. As now Kitty is the one that is surrounded by US South members, as we see
Yeah.
Abalash in third as well. Cut is taken as Kitty takes first, and um, we saw another US South member making his way up. Bell. Yeah, US South really strong start there on this lap 1.5 of Canyon Run.
Yeah. Kit is just known for being very fast on this track.
Oh,
Oh.
bye. Bell pushing his teammates off, unfortunately, as Zilla barely makes it onto the other side of the hot air balloon. It seems that one bagger is oh yeah, well, the other bagger's on the other side of the track. Shock has been pulled, and there is a chance that it is Canada, seeing as Zilla is simply holding on to that start for now, possibly going to be an early shock onto the cuts, or simply a hot air balloon to try and get the members of US South out after Kitty makes it through. And speaking of, there it is, the early shock that
There.
we expected. Boshi actually eating the TC, unfortunately,
Yeah.
as Zilla makes his way into first with Kit hot on his trail. Mike forced that TC.
Did he
Bottom
drop
three.
blue there?
I think he did. I think he
That's
barely.
that's really unfortunate. That would have been great for him to get that blue off.
Yeah, but barely able to get it out of his roulette before it is taken out of his hands. Zilla most likely going to be able to stay in first for the rest of this after that shock. Gotten by Striker. Getting that early shock, that bagging battle, as we mentioned, some Nana is going to be thrown back at Abel and Abelash, but it is going to be 1-4 for Canada at the very least. 1-4-6-7. No, 1-4-5-6 even, as Vanessa got hit out at the end there, bottom two for US South, and that is a winning race for Canada. And as you mentioned, Mystique, that shock did allow Canada. No, not sorry. um, yeah, Striker was far away, even though this was a Canada shock. I'm starting to doubt myself a little bit about who this shock really belonged to, but
No,
seeing
I think
Zilla,
that
seeing
because
Zilla frame dodging, it should
Lucas
be
dodged as
Yui.
well in Mega.
Yeah, no, so it is a MKWii shock, just that Striker was a bit further away than we
I
expected.
think Striker dropped a star for Mike. I think I saw that as well.
Uh, should be the case, yeah. But yeah, that bagging battle, as you mentioned, Zilla just allowing Zilla to get up into first place, allowing Canada to secure those top slots, and as you mentioned, the bagging battle making the difference here as MKWii gets that first shock of the match. And but only 5 points, still a
Yeah,
pretty
still
small
they
win rate.
definitely salvaged, especially getting 2-3 after like a shock on a track like Canyon Run. That's still very impressive.
Yeah, it's still early. It's still early in the bagging battle. Striker can absolutely get his get back. Gotta remember on sitting tracks, it's definitely a lot easier for a random shock to pop up regardless of potential strats here. Castle of Time, definitely another story altogether. This is all strats rather, and no sitting in the slightest. But yeah, US South getting a second pick in a row, possibly trying to get that small loss shaken off of them immediately. We're gonna follow Mike into the back really quickly, try and see how this pack evolves at the start.
Yeah, this is a good track for 2-3. They could immediately get Zilla out.
We're gonna see here. Let's switch over POVs really quickly to Zilla. Ooh, and no,
Oh,
it seems that Zilla
no?
actually did get some very nice hits onto Abel, or his teammate behind him, or Abelash,
Yeah.
staying in first for now, as that Nana is going to connect onto Abelash once again. Zilla building up his lead and most likely staying in first for now. Unfortunately, both our POVs are pretty much stuck in the front and the back, as I do expect that Mike is going to hold that bill for a while longer for his teammate, and yeah, Zilla the expert staff goes that has traumatized many on the track, making the rail and just staying in first for a lot longer, most likely.
Yeah, his lines on a track like this are just going to be very clean. But Abel's doing a good job of avoiding all his back spam so far.
Yeah, you do see the gap building slowly, though. You wouldn't. Oh, okay. Well, Mike actually mistiming the bill there. I expected
Yeah,
to
I
use it
expected
a
him to
bit
use
earlier.
that when he was in 7th.
Oh,
But
he did bill Boshi though, at the very least, and he makes his way up into fifth behind two of his teammates there. We do see Lucas is the rogue member of Canada there in that 2-4 range in fourth specifically. Blooper is going to be changed to triple reds, possibly trying to head out Lucas. A bit too much distance for now. I do not expect that red to connect. As it actually connects
oh,
onto his teammate as
connecting on
Lucas,
his
uh,
teammate. It
Lucas
does
getting
look
out
like US
Avalanche.
South is occupying like 2, 4, 5, 6 right now. So they're in a decent position, especially if they can pull a blue shell in all those mid spots.
Yeah. I do want to talk about the bagging battle really quickly. If you check the minimap, both are extremely close. They're going to come back to meet the runners here. We're going to have to see who ends up being intense. This could be pretty big here. And unfortunately, Mike
Oh,
eats Lucas's fib there. And it is Striker who is intense at the moment. MKWii behind him. So
wow.
US South Shock could actually happen as
That could
we
be very big.
that could absolutely turn the race around as it did on Canyon Run. Although in this specific instance, ooh, that T-Pow is brutal
Yeah,
for
that's a
Mike.
brutal T-Pow for Mike.
The top three is really far at
Oh,
this point.
and you see the blue shell pool.
The question is that enough to get Zilla out of
It
first?
could be if he's comboed, but
Oh, and
oh,
Shock cancels that immediately. Absolutely a Canada Shock as
yeah, that was
Boshi
definitely a
unfortunately
Canada
forces that
shock.
DC.
Boshi will I think Boshi's just getting a guaranteed 8th though, so
Absolutely. It's not over for US South just yet. Zilla is still first guaranteed. Lucas is still battling in that second to third place against Abel. Kitty making his way up slowly from fifth place. Still not over for US South, but Canada definitely in a pretty decent seat, it looks like, as we approach the last section of lap 2.
yeah, Abel really needs to hold on to that second place if they want to get a good race here.
Striker's still chaining, trying to potentially get a last second shock in 10 here as Vanessa does let Abalash pass here. 5, 6, 7 for US South. Definitely doesn't look very good at the moment. And there's the late shock, but
Oh,
it is
another
another
Canada
Canada
shock?
shock. That's the MKWii ninth as Boshi dodges late in a star and
Oh
makes
wow.
their way up there.
That's really bad for US South.
That is top 4 for Canada after that second shock in 9. Oh, I know Striker is going to be typing in
Yeah.
chat about that one.
Strike and Striker is the type to tilt or talk mid-match, so
Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite him, but yeah, that is an immediate plus 29 race for Canada here as
it is
we are they're
brutal.
they're up 34 in 2 races. Brutal is the correct adjective for it, Mystique. That's massive, massive start for Canada.
And like Canada is the team that you can't really let it get that far away. Like you need it to be close the whole way through. Because putting them in that position, if they get like a running track like Color Wonderland or something right now, it would just be very broken, especially with Zilla starting in first.
Azilla in first on Color Wonderland. If it's blue list, he is going to stay in first place. There's no doubt about that. This is his domain alongside a few other track picks that I do have in mind, such as Lost Fortress, for example.
Yeah,
And there
we
it
will
is.
see
There's
Color
the
Wonderland.
exact prediction. But it is Zilla. It is expected. If you've ever seen a Sixth Sense match, if you've ever played with Zilla, watched
If
Zilla
you
in
play
Lounge,
a Maldive event, you've seen it.
yeah. The Color Wonderland is going to be the pick. Rogue Riverside Park from Vanessa here. Bluster Blob Bluff from the MI member and striker. A bit of a split there on US South, and it is going to be Bluster Blob Bluff from
Okay.
Abel.
I do like this more than Riverside. I think this track, it's like if you get like a golden or something, you can just
That's
shroom up, and then it becomes more of a running track. So I think this is good for them.
That's a bold take, but I'm not going to entirely disagree with, at the very least, the golden part of it. But yeah, Abel, especially, we've seen before in US South matches how he can just get ahead and get an absolutely massive lead on this track. As you mentioned, it is a lot more of a running track than people think. There's a lot of small things that you can do to get up there and stay up there for a lot longer. Mike immediately using that golden to try and get up there, and a bomb on the Cub, Avalanche barely manages to dodge it out as US South are now in
Yeah.
1-4 going into that first spiral there. Single room for Mike, most likely going to be used at the ending cut. So far, 2-3-4, 2-3-5 for Canada, sorry.
Ouch.
Pretty even race so far.
Oh, actually, that's really good that he could put pressure on Canada.
They kind of need to.
Oh,
Boshi once again stuck in these CC battles. It feels like we've seen them in those CC
yeah.
battles for so much at this point in the
Keeps
match here.
losing them too.
And Zilla gets blued once again as it allows US South to get back up there here. Vanessa, Abel, and Abalash there in 3-1-5 respectively. Zilla trying to outline Vanessa as much as possible, granted for a player of his caliber. Oh, did
Oh,
of a TC changing the properties of the ground immediately and just making him
that's
fall
a
off.
that's a funny interaction. He
Yeah.
was not expecting a TC there.
You can't really predict that, unfortunately, but that is really good for US South, and that does get them in a pretty good seat. Avalanche might end up getting power rated. Great
Oh,
back bomb.
brutal back bomb.
I do believe that got Boshi as well in 8th, so that's really good for US South, occupying 3, 4, 5, 6, the mid spots at this point. Avalanche is going to eat that TT, unfortunately, but for now, it is up
Mm.
to the Canada members in top 2, which I believe are Kit and
Lucas? I think it's
Lucas.
Lucas. Yeah.
That's correct. That is Lucas. Yeah, Lucas and Kit in top 2 going to need to hold on in order to keep Canada's win streak going here. And we do see one of the baggers is going forward. The shock has been pulled, and
Are
there's a
two people off there?
people off. It seems that Lucas has managed to back both members of US South in 4-5 in 3-4 off, and now Mike is completely out of contention here. There's no way you can catch up to Kit and to Lucas. Striker possibly trying to drop a star for Mike in
Yeah.
case there needs to be, but Boshi is streaming up. That is going to be a top 3 for Canada. That's going to be another winning race
Wow.
on the US South pick. Zilla gets 7th, and that is another huge race for Canada as the lead just keeps building at this point.
Honestly, but yeah, it just that track really does just become a running track so quickly after lap one, especially. And them getting in their because they managed to get themselves in the top three, Team Canada. And so even after Zilla got blued out, they were still holding on to top two, which they just kept for the entire race.
Yeah, the only way to really break that is with Shock or Blue. It doesn't seem to be a running track at first, but given the fact that shroom cuts don't save that much time, and the fact that there's so much there's so many streams going upwards, there's so many boost panels, little tricks that you can do to stay in first, little back spots, for example, at the landing of the last low trick, that's a good spot to back someone off. There's
Yeah.
so many little things that you can do to keep that first place going. And as you said, Lucas, especially, I do want to point out Lucas getting that back onto 3-4 of US South there, getting them off before that spiral. They're absolutely massive, preventing any way of US South to possibly catch up in that race and allowing Boshi as well to get up into third, even after the really rough start that they've had with what the fourth TC they've been given this match already.
I know it's yeah, and I don't think Striker has pulled a shock yet either, which I think is definitely taking a toll on Team US South.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate too because we know for a fact that with some of these from me we were absolutely Niners. So
Yeah, at least a
definitely.
couple Niners at this point, so very unfortunate for them.
Probably not helping the mental as we see two members of US South, I believe, already off the track. It should be top 3-5 from Canada immediately. Top 3-6, sorry, that bomb is going to go wide. But yeah, the start of the race, and Canada is already in such a huge lead here at this point as Vanessa taking the cut in a star. Uh, TC from Abel going to try and pass it back to Boshi once again, but this time they're not going to be eating it once again. But yeah, it's been 5 seconds since the start of the race, and Canada are already in such a huge lead. Like, that's an insane
I know.
performance from
Especially
Canada.
on a track like this, like getting into top 3 is just huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Any potential of double back here on landings and stuff like that can be absolutely massive. That Nano is a good example. Great avoidance by Mike there, as he is simply going to try and hold on to that Mega for Striker to hopefully pull his first shock of the
Yeah,
match
if
here.
you're Striker here, you definitely need to be going for shock.
A star has been double star mega. That's where you really wish your bagger had shock, but unfortunately, that POW from Zilla is forcing every single dodge out of US South already, and Zilla is streaming up into that fifth position, top 245 for Canada so far. Mike getting bumped out here. Zilla gonna break out that red, and Canada just keeps getting into those amazing spots here. Zilla gonna try and schlag Mike a little bit there as Avalanche makes his way up into third place, and there's a blue shell coming straight at Vanessa's mouth in first place, but it is dodged, I do believe. That was Avalanche,
Yes.
sorry, that does end up dodging it in the end.
Yeah, US South in very good spots right now.
Yeah, suddenly making their way up into top 2-4. There's been a little bit of, there's been a few hits on the side of Canada there, and as you mentioned, they're now in an amazing spot. Neither backer has shocked, it looks like, so hopefully Striker is able to keep it as a preventive measure at the very least.
Right. At this point, he could probably just comfortably sit in 10 and just hope that they don't pull a 9. Just try to keep it shockless.
Ooh, that deep out could be absolutely brutal there on Saboshi and Kit on the landing there, and it is going to
Oh,
be
and that's what
what
he's
ends up
going
being done.
for.
Oh, but Abby actually did end up getting comboed, and it seemed not to bother Boshi too much. Golden is going to get used there to get up into third place. Canada
Oh, but
back.
Canada's top 2
Yeah,
again.
back into top two. Some good hits from Boshi and Zilla, getting them back up there. And Zilla is already pretty much gone. Boshi doing a little bit of flag work there, allowing Kitty to pass into third place. No items for any of these players, as raw driving skill is going to be the deciding factor before this next set. But Mike doesn't get an
Oh,
item.
missing that box is very costly.
It's pretty much race ending at this point. You do have one last box to try and get something, and bomb could very
Oh,
well
this
be
could be
something.
huge if he has to make a oh,
Does not connect, and I do
oh,
believe that
this
is Lucas coming up as well. Lucas dodges in the star.
is that
That's top four
another
for Canada
top
again.
4?
That's top four for Canada again. Another shock by MKWii with a late dodge from Lucas, and that lead just keeps growing. That is a 90-point lead in 4 races, Mystique.
I wow, it's these shocks are just their ability because they're just holding on to the ability because they can just get into these top spots and then dodge up late, and it's what they keep doing.
80, my mistake. 82-point lead. Not that it makes it any less insane, but
Only 80. Let's
that
chill
is
out.
that is the that is the quadruple 35 from Canada
That's
on 1 GP.
that's an insane GP. Wow. Yeah, I think it's like 5-0 shot count right now.
Definitely feels like it. But yeah, MeWe just able to consistently get those shocks. We do not have POV of the bagging battle, unfortunately, so we do not know if It's simply Mr. Bean handing him the lightning from the gods, the lightning from Zeus himself.
I don't know.
Um,
I think
o-
Castle of Time, I think he pulled a 9 twice. I'm fairly certain.
it definitely seemed like it from what we've seen. Either that or he pulled it way earlier than we think the first one, and then definitely pulled the second one in 9.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
no matter what, the second one was a 9.
Uh,
And that might have been a 9 as well on Infernal, just because it's sitting, and I don't think Striker was actively going for Shock.
Not quite sure, but yeah, the Riverside Park is going to be the big, thankfully. Uh, US South getting their track pick, trying to get anything at this point, trying to get back into at the very least, trying to claw their way back by any means at this point. As we're going to follow Zilla at the start, and as you can see, Riverside Park, 3 out of the 4 players sitting at the set instantly.
Oh, not getting the TC pass off.
Oh, unfortunately for Mike, that is going to be an unfortunate non-pass there, as he's going to be forced into 8th place. We do see one member of US South. I did not quite catch who that was. That was Vanessa, goldening up
Vanessa.
into 1st place. At the very least, she's going to be able to hold off Zilla for a little bit longer, as long as he doesn't pull a Shroom in 2nd.
Yeah, at this point, he's just going to keep chanting boxes, trying to get a shroom.
Or
Oh, and a
just let
blue shell
just
coming
a blue
out.
shell. In all fairness, Zilla ate more than enough of these at this point in the war. But yeah, Vanessa immediately eating that blue. Really unfortunate, but Mike does have a golden to try and take her place. But we do see Lucas shrooming up as well. So Mike
I
not
think
going to be in
Lucas
first
had the
place.
other golden, yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely a golden from Lucas. 1-3 from Canada as the pack is splitting a little bit. Um, Seems to be another US South member. Oh no, that is Boshi actually out of the bill there. So that is 1-3-4 on the side of Canada. But if that pip hits, I swear to God. Okay.
Oh, it was a little close.
It was too close for comfort, that's for sure. But yeah, depending on who ends up taking cut on lap 3, the race is far from over just yet, especially considering the shock status. We do see that
Oh,
Striker is in 10th once again, it looks like, but MKWii is sitting at the line. It could very well be another Canada shock here, depending on what happens at the end. We do see Kitty battling it out in the 3-4 spot there. 2 members of US here with Zilla
throwing
throwing
the
that blue up onto Abalash.
Oh no! If Abby gets blued on the line.
He does. He does
Oh, he
upload.
does.
And Vanessa ends up TS, so that is going to be
Oh, that was
another
definitely a Canada shot.
that is bottom that no, that's 6-8. That is 6-8 from US South, but
I
I do
think they
believe
got
they do get
top 2 after that blue show.
I do believe it's something along those lines or 1-3. Either way, it's another winning race for Canada.
Another
Definitely
shock for MKWii.
also a bad one. Oh my goodness.
It's just snowballing so quickly.
93 points for now as we go into the halfway point of the war. But yeah, 93 points ahead by 5 races is definitely not a scoreline I was expecting between 2 teams in the top 4 seeds at this point. Canada is just completely unstoppable now that they found their
Yeah,
groove.
and
Top
they do
258.
end up getting top 2. That blue shell pool is just very unlucky for US South.
Yeah, that's something that is mentioned in chat, and yeah, we should mention that as well. Reminder that we have Zilla, Kitty, Lucas, and Boshi, which is an insane lineup. But on the bench you have Jack, Adlo, RT, Goober. Like you still have an insane lineup if you just take those bench players. Those bench players alone could be a top
I
5
know they're
seed all
using
on
an
their own.
entirely different lineup than what they well, not entirely different, but like yeah, last they had Jack and Artie, and they just subbed in 2 more good runners who are scoring very well.
Yeah.
So
You have so much bench depth on Canada that you're just able to get a player that's not performing too well on one day and just completely swap them out and still have such an insane level of power. This is why they're that Matago is absolutely correct. I forgot the Sparkster. Whoops. Sparkster is another D1 runner to consider here, and that's just adding on to the whole idea of Canada being the favorites for a reason, just having such a dominant performance throughout this World Cup and most likely planning to continue as we approach the end of this group stage for them, as they only have 2 matches to play after this one. Granted, one of them is by Asia Pacific, but at this point, Asia Pacific's probably the last chance that they'll have to bleed. Granted, the match is not quite over just yet, but when you're facing a 90-point deficit in 5 races, you're definitely mentally, it's definitely gonna be rough.
Yeah, it's hard because there have been wars I've played where like I've come back from like 80, 90-point deficits, but it's like when you're not getting shocks, when you keep getting blued, it's just like it starts to like weigh on you and you start to play worse. So it's just about keeping a strong mental.
Absolutely, and, well, no offense, but they weren't not to the level. I assume your comebacks against 80 points were not to against the team with the level
No,
of the Canada
definitely
national
never
team.
never to this degree. And it's
Yeah.
also yeah, it's really hard when you're going up against such like at this level of play,
Yeah, because these
it just gets
players are
harder and harder.
consistent. They're able to stay fast no matter the track and, no matter really the conditions. Granted, Mike was able to get back up in first place after a very nice, double cut that Fire Fortress, uh Fire Fortress, what am I saying? I'm Quad F. I'm forgetting the full name of the track. But yeah, either way, Canada now in 3-4-5 behind Avalanche and Mike there, who Mike probably going to be able to stay into first for quite a while. A little bit of a Boshi, a little bit of a fail there, hitting the fireball and unfortunately getting back out by his teammates. Uh, Zilla making his way up close to first place is here, trying to chase down Mike, who is still holding on to one shroom, I believe. Ooh, unfortunate Kitty grabbing the double box here. But
I
Mike,
wonder if Mike is gonna opt to take cut here.
I think he has to at this point. He doesn't have enough of a break to really
Yeah.
justify not going for it. Yeah, you need to break away from these spots here. Even if you get blued, you are way more likely to just end up getting
Oh,
rented. And
he hit
unfortunately,
the
he hits the
penguin.
penguin. He hits the penguin, and Zilla makes his way into first place there. Kit and Mike close behind him at this point. But then there's
Oh,
the
and
blue
the
shell.
blue coming out.
Yet another blue shell for Zilla. Add that one to the counter as Kit is gonna try and back Mike out. Mike going for the white cut there.
Honestly, I think that's a decent play for him there, just because now he doesn't have to worry about getting backed or bumped by Kit.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I do think it's the correct play here from Mike, simply building some distance as he actually managed to back out one of Canada's members as well. Zilla taking the cut once again. Kit battling it out with Mike, the Canada members in 2-3. Never mind, Avalanche still in third at this point and barely managing to steal that box. But Kit, very nice flag there onto. There's a blue play
Oh,
as
the
well.
blue. That's
Another blue for Zilla.
everything just happened so quick.
Another blue for Zilla there. Avalanche taking the cut there is going to be potentially top 2 on the side of US South here, depending on how the ending of that race goes. We do see a lot of Canada in the back, but that's
Oh,
another shock for MKWii!
no.
That's disable!
No.
Another shock for MKWii! I think back to Avalanche as well! Oh
I
no!
I think that unfortunately brings the shot count up to like 7-0.
Another late shock for MKWii!
No, and that US South was on pace to get like a top 3 there.
You can't make this up. You can't
Yeah,
make this up.
because one
When
of them
when
got 2 of them got TS, one got TS going for cut, and then one got TS'd off that big ramp, which just has a terrible respawn.
oh my god, and
That is
just
so bad for them.
just when they managed to beat the
Oh, and it's
runners of just when they managed to beat the runners of Canada, the bagger comes along and completely shatters their dreams.
wow.
Top 2, 5, 6 for Canada. Another winning race past the 100-point threshold in 6 races.
Oh my That's very yeah, because they were top 3 going into the end there, and 2 of them had shrooms, I believe, because one of them was taking the little snow cut. That that completely just shifted everything, going from top 3 to getting top 2.
That's absolutely massive there for that if the previous ones did not hurt your mental, if you're US South, that one absolutely would.
Yeah, that would hurt my mental.
Oh goodness, Color Wonderland and Marble Towers are going to be the pick. Frantic Fact, Funyard, and Spooky Swamp on the side of US South here. You still have 6 races to catch up. Technically, you can do the exact same half that Canada just did, and you would be able to catch up. But at this point, you already we have just crossed the halfway point, and we are already at the point where if US South doesn't start getting winning races, it's already over.
Yeah.
That
I
is
just
an insane position to be in.
and they need really strong races, which is just hard. I'm honestly surprised that Team Canada was able to get one top four, let alone two in the same war.
Yeah, against a team that is considered one of the strongest in the tournament. Granted, Canada is definitely considered the strongest. No S at the end there, but it's still a massive gap between these two teams so far. Zilla obviously making the strat that he and Brody are known for on Marble Towers
Right.
at the start, and most likely going to be able to stay in the first here. Let's switch our POVs to Mike really quickly as he is chaining for those early Shrooms Golden. Exactly what he is aiming for here, trying to catch back up to Canada with Kit and Lucas in 5-4. Vanessa actually getting hit out. I was about to say hold on Vanessa's trail, but actually she gets hit out immediately, and that looks like it's already a top four for Canada as we approach the end of
It's
lap.
yeah, and it's
Oh, never mind.
no, Bell is up
Abel's in
there.
second. Abel is
It's
in
just
second.
hard
My
though
mistake.
because this is a track that like obviously Zilla's known for, but also Lucas. This used to be Lucas's like go-to track.
Absolutely, yeah. For those that have watched the ye old Road to Emerald, they probably remember that little tidbit of info. But yeah, Zilla and Lucas both really known for this track at this point. Mike possibly trying the same thing that Zilla was, I don't know, or simply just trying to make his movements a bit more unpredictable for Kit there. But it seems like Kit was able to simply dodge it or pass it to someone that we did not end up
Yeah,
seeing. But
he
yeah.
passed it to the bagger.
Oh, you're absolutely correct. I did not see him pass there, but you're absolutely right. Mike chaining that Mega into a blooper there, unfortunate. Um, as
Unfortunate pool.
we don't even need to switch the POV to Zilla. You can see on the minimap that he has built up that lead, even with the
Yeah.
shroom cuts. He's still super far ahead at this point, to the point where a blue is going to mindly inconvenience him. Canada member did end up getting hit out as Abel makes his way into 5th place here, 5-6 on the side of US South. But we do see Canada in bottom 2 at this point. Do we see a MKWii shock? No. Possibly striker shock here? Neither.
Yeah, I
No.
think Blue Shell's very helpful.
And there's the
Yeah,
blue
I think
shell speaking of which.
Striker is gonna definitely be on pace to get a shock. Just because the fact that I think MKWii had to sacrifice his ability to do the strat just to take the TC from Kit.
Yeah, definitely. But as as we mentioned, that it's going to be a mild inconvenience for Zilla. He takes it on that boost panel, stays up there, stays into first place, and there's finally a US South shock
The
as
first US South shock.
Mike dodging in the star, making his way up. But even then, is that enough? As Vanessa tries to make her way up there, Pau is going to get those red shells out. But it seems like Vanessa is actually maybe going to get first, going to snatch the win away from the Canada members, trying to back them out. But unfortunately, not managed to catch them. But it is the first winning race for US South here, 1-4-5-7, finally getting a winning race of any sort against Canada past the halfway point of the war.
I think it goes back to what I said earlier. I think shock is just so huge because these teams, despite what it looks like, these teams are very like evenly matched on paper. And I think shock, especially on a track like that, just has the ability to completely turn the tables.
It always does, really, but you're absolutely correct. It might not seem like it, but a lot of Canada's winning races, especially the top fours, they were at the very least accelerated by having shock and using it well. That top four, for example, that top 256 was completely dictated by that shock. If shock that was not there, that was a winning race
Yeah,
for
if
US
shock
South.
was not there, they were getting a huge losing race.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think using shock well is another trademark of having a strong game sense and strong player as a whole. And US South used that as well as they could while obtaining it this late in the race there, uh, allowing uh, allowing Mike to catch back up to 4th place. And gotta say, Vanessa as well, I assume, was the one that called that shock, getting the top 2 from Canada after the ramp and getting herself on said ramp
Yeah,
to
I
be able
think
to
so
catch up.
too.
And Frantic Funyard is going to be the pick for US South, and the Rabbit Hole is going to be the place for Canada. Yeah, you can make your jokes in chat, make your joke mistake if you want to. The point is, It is a Zilla track, a track that has been picked by Six
I
Sense
don't know
for
what you're
quite a
talking
few
about.
seasons. Yeah. Anyway, either way, Rabbit Hole is going to end up being the track picked here in 2-3 for Canada. A track that Zilla is very well known for running
Yeah.
more often than not. And
You're
Kit
well known on this track as well.
And Kit, as a really technical player, also really strong on this track. So I'm expecting both players of Canada to put quite a bit of pressure on Vanessa as we go into the 2-lap track.
Yeah,
And
this track
honestly,
has just so much shroomless tech.
yeah, this is the sort of track where we mentioned at the start on the pre-match that track knowledge in CTs can make a lot of a bigger of a difference than raw running power as well. And this is a peak example of that. Zilla
Yeah.
already making his way into first place with Lucas in second. Vanessa already completely out of the picture.
I know, just another track that Zilla, Lucas, Kit are just all really solid on, kind of known for.
Absolutely. Zilla, especially with 60 picking it this much, just being able to consistently run it at such a high level. We do see someone taking the cut in Mega behind Lucas. It does seem to be Boshi. I think I do believe I saw Boshi, but I'm not quite certain, unfortunately. A little bit flicking that back a little bit. No, it is a US South member, possibly Vanessa actually catching up to Zilla there. It is Vanessa actually catching up with Mike, actually hot on their trail in third there. It does seem like US South is in a pretty decent spot, fib
Yeah,
avoided
this
by
is a
both
good
US South
position for
members.
them to be in, especially if they can get like a blue shell.
Yeah, the pack is not yet too split, so Blue Shell would actually have a lot of impact, contrary to the one on Marble Towers, for example. Zilla would absolutely suffer from it in
Right.
this position.
I'm gonna put US South in top two.
Just Vanessa has to be extremely careful not to get backed out here on
Yeah,
the uphill
especially in
and
this
in the
section.
labyrinth. Red goes a little bit too wide there. Will another back be seen? That green does not connect either. Vanessa dodging the danger zone here, hitting the card a little bit, unfortunately, meaning that Zilla can get a little bit more of a lead there. Red is going to be thrown thanks to that draft, but I do think Zilla should have more than enough space and the item to possibly block it if need be. If it does connect, it would be rather brutal, but it does seem to force Zilla to go around, possibly to break that red, giving Mike a little bit more leeway to catch back up. Gonna have to see if he can maybe catch Zilla in any way, possibly with a shroom later on, but for now, Zilla definitely holding on to that first place as our POVs are stuck in top two. Boshi out of nowhere, making his way, their way, sorry, up into second place with Vanessa in third. So Canada back into a strong position with Kit following right next to them. Mike gonna be able to shroom up at least a little bit, but it's already too little, too late. The fastest section to use those shrooms to get back up. Ooh, those
Oh,
fibs.
whoa. Those fibs.
Extremely scary fibs. But yeah, Mike making his way into third place behind Boshi, having their trail out that banana should be able to dissuade Mike from trying to force his way into second place there for at least a little bit longer. But Canada's lead
Yeah.
seems to only hold by a thread, and we see both backers going forward. We know a shock is in play. It's going to be a late shock for possibly US South past the set. Nope, oh, triple shroom for Mike is absolutely massive. There's those
Yeah, that's an
get past.
amazing pull for him.
Gonna have to see, will the TC be cancelled? No, it seems to be possibly a late US South shock or a late Canada shock. Uh, late US, late Canada shock.
Late
That is
Canada shock. Yeah.
Kitty dodging in a mega and possibly another dodge coming up. Doesn't seem like it, but that is at the very least top two from Canada, salvaging what could have been a winning US South race.
Yeah, if they held on to like that 2-3-4 that they were situated in, but again, just another late shock that completely changes the momentum.
Well, granted, I would argue that changing the momentum might be a little bit exaggerated in this specific instance. That
Well, in
Zilla
this instance,
Uh,
yes, but
Zilla never left first this entire race. He started in second, exited the tunnel first, and never looked back, metaphorically,
yeah,
top 2, 6,
no
7.
blue shell, no like anything to really switch that up. And the only other way that could have happened was a shock on the side of US South, but
Even then, I would argue that Zilla and the top 3 overall was a bit too far for the Zilla to really get caught up,
yeah,
unless there
definitely
was a
at the
dodge in
end.
a really high spot. But we are past the 112-point threshold once again, and at this point, I'm sorry to say, but a single winning race for Canada and its curtains for US South at this point is going to be mathematically impossible for them to catch up if Canada gets even a single point winning race. You need, on average, for those that do the math really quickly, on average, you need 23 points per race to tie Canada on that last GP, which I don't think you need me to tell you how rough of a comeback this is going to be.
Yeah, I think at this point, yeah, it's just like you said. They really just have to go all out.
And
And on
Color
a track
Wonderland.
like Color
And Color
Wonderland,
Wonderland. Oh no.
it's just going to be an uphill battle.
Yeah, that is going to be. Zilla literally needs, if Zilla holds on to first, it's GG's. A double red shell is actually going to connect.
Oh,
Great,
that's
great play.
actually exactly what they needed to happen.
Absolutely. And now US South in top 3. This could very well be the start of it. As
Oh, and
Zilla
Zilla
is
getting
going
a
to get TC'd.
TC.
It's now up to Kit to try and make his way up there, trying to contest these US South members, and he does seem to be make a pretty good job of it. Mike is going to be forced up there. Kit bumping him around a little bit on the cut. Forced around. Kit does end up making the cut alongside Vanessa, but yeah, Kit. No, Vanessa failed. Vanessa failed.
Oh,
Kit is now in first place, but ends up getting blued immediately. And Mike is going to have shrooms of protection. That's massive.
that's actually. Oh, oh my, so much just happened.
Oh my
But
goodness.
US South in a very good position right now.
Well, we see the shroom cut from Zilla. Oh, we do. And he makes it as well. One of the only players, well, two only players, possibly three if you count Akira. Not sure if Akira does it often, actually. But yeah, one of the very few players that can say they do that cut consistently. And now Canada is up in 2-3-4 off the back of that. Mike has so much work to do at this point to prevent, to keep his team in the game in the first place,
And
really.
he won't be able to do anything because I think he's still holding on to his shroom, so he won't be able to like back spam or anything.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. He's holding on to that shroom because any blue would be impossible to counter, but so would that red dot
Oh.
comboed, and that's a Canada's top 3 as one of the baggers is
Going
Godzilla
again?
going for it again, and
Oh
he makes
my
it
god.
again. And Miwi's gone, so that looks like it's going to be a Canada shock as well. This looks like it is
That's
curtains for
oh
US South. So sorry for that switch, Mike. And Zilla dodges
that
that dodges that
toxic switch.
dodges that blue as well after that dodge here, after that cut here. Mike, a little bit of desperation maybe, I don't know, but yeah, Zilla going to me going to be Lucas actually dodging up with that
Lucas
build
dodging
here.
and Bill.
Zilla gets second in the end. Abel makes his way into third, but yeah, that is top 2, 4, 5 for Canada. And at race
Oh
10, it is GG's already
yeah.
mathematically impossible for US South to catch up. Definitely not the result I expected coming into this, but
No,
Canada
I
have just been
yeah.
dominant all the way
I mean,
through.
I predicted Canada was going to win, but I thought it was going to be a closer match, much closer. I was not expecting it to go this way at all. It's just like a lot of things have just been going in their favor. Like they're getting these running tracks when they're finishing in these top spots. They're getting the shocks. It's just not a whole lot US South can do.
No, really, especially when your only hope is simply to hold on to that shroom and praying that your opponents don't get red. It seemed so to start so well as well. It seemed to start so well for a US South. Getting Zilla out immediately. Kit is the only one
I know
making
they
the
were off to such a strong start.
but Vanessa ends up failing, and then it all goes downhill from here. Zilla making the cut, putting so much pressure onto Mike in first, making that shroom cut fucking twice in an online race, by the way. Like,
That's insane.
that's
Yeah.
not real. There
I was
is,
surprised that he went for it again, especially with like everyone around him, but why not? If you can make it.
there is a DT from Vanessa, but I'm honestly wondering if they even choose to reset anyway past this point.
Yeah, I feel like they might just play it out like a 4v5.
Yeah, you're already down 136 at this point. It's not like it really matters too much. But yeah, that is. I can't believe I'm saying this at rate 10. But GG's to Canada, showing just how dominant they've been in this entire. This is not an isolated incident. If you looked at Canada's tables, with the single exception of US North getting only a win by 4, every single one of those wins has been by 100 or more. Canada have been absolutely imperial in this tournament so far, and clearly are not done spilling blood on the racetrack. Nope.
Oh.
Yeah, hype speech into immediate fail. That's the
I
that's the
know.
that's the scope
Getting
special right
starred
there.
by Kit.
That's the scope special right
Spoke a
there.
little
Uh,
too soon.
but yeah, either way, Mike, for once, in first place, but Canada hot on this trail. They're now stuck in a 3v4. But
I mean,
yeah,
for what it's
let
worth, Mike has been in like first a good amount. He's
yeah that
been
that's definitely maybe a bit mean from me to say that because he has been in the top spot a lot, but it's just that Canada have been in the top spot even more than that.
yeah.
Zilla has been continuously in first. We made a joke uh, at the start of during GP1. Oh, great fib on landing. We've made a joke at the end of GP1 that Zilla has been continuously blued, and it has continued throughout GP2 as well. That Color Wonderland being another example as well. Kit
Yeah,
making his way
exactly.
across it. That's an early shock. Oh my god.
Oh, an early Canada
Oh
getting
my.
one shock so far for US South just has to be like
Yeah, I will. Okay, well, I was about to say I do wonder how many of those were Niners, how close the bagging battle was. I know for a fact if I look in the not the rep chat, if I look in the public chat in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to have my answer.
I no, you'll know.
But yeah, Kit is most likely just going to be able to stay up there after that quick dodge in a star there. Not even a mega, actually. He didn't even need the mega box for that. Lucas hot on Mike's trail there, forcing that mega out of him. That red
Pushing
is
that mega,
going to
yeah.
not connect. Where is Zilla in all of this, actually? Quick check to see where he is in 7th place. Actually, in dead last at the moment there.
Holding it down in 7th.
Has not been able to catch up too much, and probably not dodging that shock. Probably an
It looks
indiv
like he's
call
going
from
for a
Zilla
dodge.
as a star at least. If there's another Canada shock, I will.
Oh,
I
I
I
see
am
why he was going for a dodge.
I'm leaving this caster booth. I'm leaving this caster booth.
Oh my god.
I'm not staying any longer. This is this is
I would I would
this is going to be
love to
134.
hear what Stryker has to say right now.
Yeah,
One of the
Megan.
rare times that Stryker is saying nothing.
There's no way he gets top 2 out of that. Oh my god.
Oh, that's... So Kit dodged the first shock, Zilla dodged the second shock. They get top 2.
Oh my god.
And yeah, Mike was having a lot of frontal presence as well. It's just like,
It's just that it's
and he
just
got
shock
mega
happens.
box. I think he got it twice.
He got it. Did he get a lap 3? I don't know if he got it for lap. No, did
I
he
know
get
he
it
got
for
it.
lap 2? I don't know. I don't think he did get it 3 times, except he got it right at the very
Oh no,
end.
I said I think he
Yeah,
got it twice.
he might have gotten it at the very end, but he definitely missed it the first time. Yeah, top 2, bottom 2 for Canada. Boshi and Lucas not as lucky as Kit and Zilla. As Zilla is, Z- I just want you to realize that Zilla can theoretically score his third 140 of this tournament.
Oh, that
This is not over. Oh, apparently Zilla is saying that was a US shock. Okay, so we just dodged that with a fair enough, I guess.
What?
Also, why are you listening to the stream? Get out. Oh my
I'm
god.
actually surprised that that
I mean,
was like US.
granted, Abby did dodge right in front of him in a mega, so I guess that's fair enough, but... Oh boy.
So I don't think you should ever really call that.
I'm sorry, dear viewers. I'm speechless at this point. I don't think I can say any more than what we've been saying throughout this entire war. Just how dominant Canada has been so far, and they're gonna keep dominating overall. It looks like. But yeah, okay. Let's use the okay. Maybe wrong choice of words. But let's use this opportunity to talk about the later potential matches that they've had. We've talked about the Asia Pacific showdown between the Asia Pacific Canada showdown a lot throughout this stream as the 1-0. Well, okay, Zilla's in first now. As the one way that Canada may be able to not have an 70
Perfect record.
yeah, perfect record. Thank you. I don't know why the word was escaping me. Their one way of not having a perfect record, but yeah, that is possibly their one chance. And at this point, seeing how this match is going, I'm starting to wonder if that US North win by 4 wasn't a surprisingly enough a fluke. Or maybe just them having less synergy at the start.
What?
Goddamn,
What?
Mike.
That's a crazy TC pass.
I think that was Mike passing it. That's crazy.
Going backwards after the cut to get Zilla there.
Might as well. You're playing for fun anyway.
Right.
But yeah, that is the one way that they won't have a perfect record because I do believe their last match is what's their last match against actually? I am a horrendous caster. I do not have that in mind. It is versus US West, which we granted US West does have some really good players regardless, but US West has lost some matches against the other US teams and against some other teams in general. So it is expected to be another Canada win regardless. So definitely going to be a match to watch out for between the two currently lossless teams in this tournament. But yeah, that is still an impressive performance from Canada, and it is going to be the one way if we see if US North is possibly the only team that can possibly contend with the immovable wall that is Canada at this point.
Yeah, that's really shocking the way this war ended up unfolding, but I mean, it just shows again that Canada really is the team to beat at this point.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely that is the perfect way to put it. Canada is the team to beat. They've been considered the top seed ever since the teams were announced, and they're
I
absolutely
know.
showing it at this
Even
point.
since like discussions, people were like, "Oh, Team Canada is going to be like insane." Just seeing how many like CT players all live in Canada.
Yeah, whereas on RTs, Canada is more so seen as like an afterthought compared to the US. On
Right.
CTs, it seems to be the complete other way around. Even if you regrouped all US teams, Canada would definitely still have a shot at the very least, if not
Right.
possibly win it outright.
And most of the US teams are strong as well, but it's just like, yeah, Canada. And it's just like the depth of their roster that they can sub out. Like they could sub out 3 runners and just keep Zilla and just still have a really strong lineup going against whoever. So
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of Zilla, it looks like he is going to get first. So that 140, that third 140 is looking more than likely as he needs to get third or more by next race. Oh my god, I don't want this to turn into a Zilla Glaze stream, but at this point, I feel like it's kind of like you need to talk about it. He's putting prime LeBron numbers at this point. I feel like it'd be wrong not to talk about it.
I mean,
Uh,
yeah, it's the thing to talk about right now.
yeah. But yeah, that is another decent race for Canada, 1-3. I'm not sure what the bottom spots got. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to see that 1-3-4-7 Kit. Unfortunately, not getting his piece of the pie this race. 1-3-4 still a really good, decent race for Canada. Not going to get the 200 point win this time. Not getting their third 200 point win in this tournament, but possibly still getting a very nice record regardless. As granted the 5v4 during the last 3 races definitely dampens that gap
Yeah.
a little bit, but considering that it was above 110, I believe, even before the disconnect, still definitely within the realm of possibility, even if Vanessa was there still.
Yeah, I think just the way it's unfolding, and Zilla's just so consistent.
Yeah, that's the
And
thing.
yeah,
Let's do a bit of a stat check really quickly because I do want to check something out of curiosity. If we look at Canada's tables throughout the past, yeah, there's a single table. Let me check if I'm being correct on this. There is a single table where Zilla has not scored less than 100, less than 120 even.
Wow.
That is 120. Versus East Asia, Zilla scored 83. No, this is not even true because the match against East Asia lasted 8 races, so that's not even fair.
Oh, so he was on pace to score like
He was on pace.
120.
He was on pace for 120 still. The match lasted 8 races. They won by 224 in 8 races.
Oh.
Yeah, that match was brutal. But yeah, so
And yeah,
theoretically,
and this is another Zilla staple, so
yeah, if we count. This match is already secured. If we count that East Asia as a 120 pace for Zilla, Zilla has not scored less than 120 throughout that entire group stage so far.
that's just insane when
That's
you
just-
think about it.
That's just no, like that's just. I mean, I want to say it's insane, but that's literally what his average was in Division One, so it's not really that insane to think about. His average was hello. It was literally his average in Division One was 40.1. Oh, there's a US
Oh.
South shock. And
Oh,
a great one at that.
wow.
A great
Number
one at that.
3?
It gets Mike into first place as well. So, honestly, great shot from them as well.
Yeah, utilized that shock very well. All the Canada had to go around strat, and then Mike was able to dodge, and now he has a huge lead. So
I'm gonna be honest, I did not even register it for a moment because seeing a shock on Flying Kingdom is so rare this early in the race, especially.
yeah,
Zilla,
I think it's
Zilla,
very much needed though, because like Canada was in top 3.
yeah. If you want to, at the very least, save the honor and get a winning race at the end there, you need to get that shock early, get Avalanche and Mike on in those front spots here. Zilla going to be slowed down a little bit alongside Kit by that back bomb. Still fighting for that 140 at this point more than anything else, as he's streaming through the
I know
dirt
he
here.
just needs to keep third, and it'll happen.
Mike should be pretty much guaranteed first at this point, unless a rogue blue is thrown late into the race. But for now, Abalak is the one to beat for Zilla at the moment, and should be able to pass him as well. Ooh, a little bit of fail there, uncharacteristic fail from Zilla there as we make our way into the final roomlet of this track. The Nana is going to be thrown a little bit too early there, and Zilla in second place is going to secure his third 140 of this Custom Track World Cup. And I think we've said it all at this point, folks. Canada is the team to beat, bar none. US South, not even getting a winning race. I was about to say get the winning race at the end, but no, because Avalanche did get CS at the end, so they get 2, 3, 6, 7. So that is a neutral race at best, as US South are beaten by 150 points by Canada.
But they did fail to get the triple 100, so they basically lost when you think about it.
I forget I said anything. Canada is absolutely terrible. Should not be considered the top seed going into the last 6-6. But in all seriousness, an amazing performance from Canada straight up. US South trying to fight as much as possible. Granted, lots of shocks from Canada. This cannot be denied. Canada had so many shocks throughout that
Yeah, I think
entire
the final
match.
shot count was looking something like 12-3.
Do I dare ask Striker what it was?
I'll probably be like 5 shots 9.
I mean, honestly, I would believe him seeing what we've
No, I
seen
would
from the
believe him
bagging battles.
too. I would believe him too.
148, yeah, with US South getting only a single member above the 80-point line. Canada just continuing the sheer dominance that they've been showing throughout this entire World Cup so far, as they've only got 2 opponents left, US West and Asia Pacific to try and get that coveted 1 seed that they were predicted to get going into this. Any last comments, Mystique, before we just hand it over to the casters for our next match?
Oh, Rob Bowser. It's very like interesting just seeing like the level of consistency that players like Zilla play at, and just like I think the only mistake we actually saw him make was him hitting the wall on the marble shroom cut.
Yeah, I think. I'm pretty sure you could absolutely analyze it a bit more and find maybe something else, but they're definitely rare. That much is certain. His consistency is absolutely showing here, both from from constant Division 1 wins. Obviously, if you're gonna have your team be dominant for this long, there's a proper reason for it. We do, while we do mention Zilla and Brody as a duo, I do think Zilla as a pure runner is maybe arguably stronger than Brody at this point, simply because of
Yeah.
how much he's been grinding the game
Yeah,
overall.
based on the activity levels, I do think Zilla would have the edge right now. But again, it's just Canada is so strong just because they have Zilla, but it's like all the other runners as well, and they have such a deep bench. It's just like it's really a task just to go up against a team that's that stacked. And who knows what lineup they're gonna throw out too.
Yeah, still the team to beat, still the team to pull out some amazing performances that we've seen. We were talking about a really close match at the start, definitely not what it ended up being. But
No.
yeah, I do hope it was still enjoyable for you guys to watch, and hopefully the next match that will be casted by our future co-casters, which is Bowser, and I am forgetting who he is casting with.
Josh LA.
Josh Live. Thank you. I am stupid. Sorry. They'll be casting US South versus US West. A pretty important match for both team seedings going into the top 6, possibly still fighting for that second seed, depending on how the last few matches from Asia Pacific go. So yeah, stick around. It's going to be, I'd say, around 10 to 14 minutes possibly. And yeah, just